All right, we're actually pre-recording this so you guys don't have to sit through the full centrifuge process and me talk over the centrifuge for 10 minutes. What we're gonna do is actually use some bovine blood that we've got here and walk through the process all the way from extraction through the centrifuge to then how you would process out your platelet poor plasma, get rid of that, and extract your platelet rich plasma. I'll do a sample with leukocyte poor, and then I'll do an additional twist on the dial here to show you how easy it is to get a leukocyte rich or leukocyte poor. There have been cases where I've actually done both and gotten a leukocyte poor and then remixed and got a leukocyte rich. So we're actually having two different types of injections off of one sample in one process. Pretty cool. The kits themselves, this is a bone marrow concentrate kit. So you've got everything you need sterile sealed inside of here. Here's our Jamshidi needles we'll use for those bone marrow extractions, again, out of a canine. That's going to be from the femur, and for horses that's done from the sternum. Our PRP kits are like this. So these are, again, everything in here is sterile. It's got all the components that you need. The syringes, the concentration device, blood draw needle. We use a 19 gauge butterfly needle for that. The drape that I have laid out here. So pretty much everything you need to do the whole process. Again, a 2-year shelf life on these kits. I don't have an example of the protein concentrate system, which is really just a PRP kit plus the filter system to take the platelet poor plasma that you're going to normally be disposing of, and actually we're going to dehydrate that for those cytokine injections. So don't have an example of that here, but we are focusing on PRP today. So the first thing we do, actually every kit comes with instructions. So if you forget how to do it, you could just look at the instructions. The first thing that we always do is pre-treat our blood draw needle with ACDA. That's our anticoagulant. When we're doing bone marrow, we're going to use heparin. And those ACD vials and the heparin vials come with the kits. In this case, we're not going to pre-treat because this bovine blood has already been pre-treated with ACDA. So we're just going to go ahead and draw this out. You don't have to use a butterfly needle, but it makes it handy in a lot of cases. All right, so it looks like we've got our 60 cc's of blood here. So I'm going to uncap this. All right, so we've got the blood drawn. Again, this is pre-treated with ACDA. At this point, I also make sure my gloves are on because this is our sterile field right here. We are going to put the dispensing tip on our blood draw needle, and then this is a concentration device that we use in conjunction with the centrifuge and our benchtop processing station to make everything much more convenient and sterilized. So I'm going to just insert like that, and then we can see the blood fill that up. And it's really kind of slick. The 45 degrees dispensing tip keeps it from getting foamy and splattering. It sort of causes the blood just to run down the side. And we're just going to fill that until we get to about 60 mLs. And that's it. And so we'll get rid of that. At this point, if you're sterile, we can just flip the green silicone cap on there, and then we're going to cap on this and click it down nice and tight. And so this is our whole blood. If somebody is not wearing gloves, we do have some alcohol pads that are in the kits that you can, if you just put the little top on and you do touch the top, make sure you just wipe that off. The next step is to have your counterbalance. So if you're doing a 120 draw, that's going to come with double of everything. So you're going to have two 60 ml concentration devices full of blood, and we'll spin that down in the centrifuge. When we only do a 60 ml for small animal, you're going to be doing 60 ml, either 60, 30, or 15. We have a whole chart that explains at what weight, what condition you would use a 30 versus a 15 or a 60 ml draw, how much ACDA to put in, all of that. But today we're going to be pretending we're working with the 60. We have two different centrifuges. My favorite is the Drucker. It's lighter, it's super powerful. It has everything preset built in, so you can do a 60 ml, a 15 or a 30 ml, or a bone marrow without having to change any settings. You can change all the parameters you want, but you don't have to because they're built in, which is really nice. The other one we have is a little bit larger. I don't feel like it's as mobile, so it's not, it's great for in-clinic, but for stall side or mobile applications, the Drucker is just the way to go in my view. So right here, we can actually switch back and forth to BMC, the bone marrow aspirate concentrate, or PRP. And typically, again, this would be PRP 60, 30, or 15. So we're just gonna go to PRP and then lock the lid and then press go. And that's gonna start to speed up. This is gonna be counting down for 10 minutes. It's not going to start the countdown until it's actually at its full 3,500 RPMs that we need. So you can kind of see that, I don't know if you can get a little bit better of a camera angle, or this speeding up, and that countdown will start. Once it's done, it's going to slowly speed down, and it won't come to an abrupt stop. So we don't want to jar the PRP at that point. And what we should end up is a really nicely separated PRP, or plasma versus red blood cells. All right, so we've come to a complete stop now. You can see it's flashing blue. That means we're ready to open. I'm going to leave the counterbalance in there, and we're going to remove our blood. And here is our beautiful sample. Now this is bovine blood, which actually tends to be about as yellow as human blood, but very frequently with cats, dogs, and horses, it's actually much cleaner. I'm going to come a little bit closer, and you'll see that the buffy coat is right there. This is your red blood cells. Your plasma is here. Your platelet-rich plasma is floating right above the buffy coat, a couple mLs there, and then inside of the buffy coat, and then also about an ml below the buffy coat as well. So that's it. All right, so here's our sample. At this point, I'm going to take off the protective cap and pull back the silicone cap. I'm going to spin it around so we can see our markings right there. We're going to put it on top of the benchtop processing station and twist that until it kind of tightens up. And I'm going to move that up until our platelet pore plasma gets right up to the top of that cone. I'm going to prime that barrel of the 60 ml syringe. I'm going to pop that on the top and then start pushing, and that just pushes down. It's not a screw on. And now we're getting rid of our platelet pore plasma, and we'll just keep on pushing that dial until we get up to about the 6. So with a 60 ml draw, a standard concentration will be at about 6 mLs or 6 cc's of plasma. So we'll stop there. That's our platelet pore plasma. So at this point, we're going to cap this off, dispose of it, or if you're doing protein concentrate or cytokine therapy, you would reuse this, dehydrate it down, and that would be how you would get your cytokine therapy injectable. The next step is to take our 12 ml syringe. We're going to prime that, pop it on top, super easy, and then that's our platelet-rich plasma going in there. And then I'm going to slow down, because as we see the buffy coat kind of climb up the concentration device, which you can see right there, is if I'm going for a leukocyte pore sample, I'm going to see like a poof. And there it is. And so that is our leukocyte pore sample. So at this point, if I wanted to just stick with this for perhaps a joint or something, although there's different information out there about leukocyte rich or leukocyte poor, but sometimes people don't like to do leukocyte rich in joints, this would be the end of your injection. You're good to go. If you want a leukocyte rich, which would be great for soft tissue, bone, tendons, ligaments, because you're getting a lot more platelets and growth factors in that. And non-inflammatory white cells, we're going to actually capture the buffy coat, and you can see it slide in there. It kind of looks like a booger. Sorry for the terminology, but that's kind of what it looks like. We can take it off, and we're going to cap it. I'm going to stand up. And at this point, we're going to just kind of mix it for a little bit. So this will become a lot more red of an injectable as your leukocyte-rich PRP sample. And that's it. We're just going to do this for about 30 seconds, and we're done. We're ready for injections.